When you think about Christmas, you probably think about traditions. And my favorite Christmas tradition is watching Christmas movies. Sure, you can watch Christmas movies all year long, but I'm not one of those people. I start on Black Friday and I cram as many Christmas movies as I can in till Christmas. And that's what we're here to talk about today. I am gonna share with you my list of 13 Christmas movies that I watch every year to get into the Christmas spirit, or to maybe explore areas of the Christmas spirit that are a little, different. As I mentioned before, I think Black Friday is a great time to start watching Christmas movies. Thanksgiving has gotten its due, Halloween's long in the past, and boy do I have a great one for you to start with.
Put 'em up. Relax, buddy. I'm not about to hit a Santa Claus.
Jingle All The Way is the absolute perfect movie to kick off your Christmas movie watching every single year on Black Friday. It is a movie all about trying to find that one perfect toy for your kid, except you, oopsies, forgot to buy it. So Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a very business-focused dad, Rita Wilson plays his wife, Jake Lloyd, Anakin Skywalker himself, plays little Jamie, and all Jamie wants for Christmas is a Turbo Man, a sort of Iron Man-esque, brand-safe, not offensive toy that's not gonna get them sued by any company, unlike the Captain America wallpaper in Jamie's room. That's probably aged a little poorly. Although I guess Fox made this movie, Disney owns it now. It's all in the family at this point, who cares? Jamie wants a Turbo Man, it's all he wants, but there's none left. There's just Booster, the shitty sidekick. They got tons of him, but no Turbo Man. And Arnold Schwarzenegger goes to incredible lengths to make up for his forgetfulness and get Jamie the toy he wants for Christmas. Hijinks ensue, if you can imagine it.
Oh, she won't worry. I mean, I'm here and... Oh, these cookies!
Put that cookie down now!
Holy crap, Phil Hartman plays the neighbor, the divorced single dad in the neighborhood, who is kind of moving in on Rita Wilson there a little bit. Very, very popular among the presumably single mothers in the neighborhood. Yeah, he's a real creep, and no one's better at coming in and knocking out those supporting performances than Phil Hartman, rest in peace. Sinbad plays a mail carrier who is also trying to get that exact same Turbo Man for his son. Sinbad calls in a bomb threat to try to get this toy, giving you an idea of the lengths that these characters are going to for like a fine. I mean, like, this is no Buzz Lightyear, right? I don't know if I would want my dad risking his life for this toy. So all little Jamie wants is that Turbo Man, and really that might be the key to why this movie is so sticky and brings you back to childhood, at least me anyway. We all remember that one toy that we never thought we would get because it was too popular. I remember for me, like, that was a GameCube. Oh, when I open a GameCube, I can still hear my own scream echoing through time. It's bad. Jingle All The Way, it's such a blast, and if you haven't seen it, it is completely insane.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen.
Now we're moving on to the end of November, first couple weeks of December, and this is a great time to watch Christmas movies that are a little more left of center. You want to save the ones that are just pure Christmas goodness for closer to the actual day. But now is a great time to watch movies that take a little bit of a different approach to celebrating the season.
I can't seem to find my toothbrush, so I'll pick one up when I go out today. Other than that, I'm in good shape.
I've been watching this movie pretty much every year for as long as I can remember, and past that. I can't really remember when I started watching this movie every Christmas, but it has always been around. The first one came out in 1990, the year I was born, so I've always had it in my sort of periphery around the holidays, and basically watch it every year. And I say I watch Home Alone every year. I don't watch Home Alone 2: Lost in New York every year. I think that we can all agree that Home Alone is the better of the two, and the plots are identical. It's just one takes place in the nicest house in Chicago and one takes place in New York. So pick and choose. Do you want a neighbor who the kids think killed his family, or do you want a crazy bird lady played by Brenda Fricker? Take your pick. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What is Home Alone about? It's about a boy who's home alone at Christmas, and there's people robbing him, and the traps. We all know the traps. But as you get older, the things you start to appreciate more about this movie are a lot more subtle. Now look, Macaulay Culkin's performance as Kevin McAllister is famous. It's one of the most beloved performances by a child actor in cinematic history. And then you've got Catherine O'Hara, who is doing really, really kind of subtle work here. I really think back to that scene where Kevin is telling his mother that he wishes he wasn't part of this family, that they were gone. And that look on her face it's really representative of the rest of the work she does in the movie, which is that she is so keyed in and emotionally available and open, and it really does provide this really, really sweet moment once they're eventually reunited at the end of the movie. As for Home Alone 2: Lost in New York, again, if you're choosing to watch a Home Alone movie at Christmas, I'd say pick one or the other. Don't do both, because watching them back to back is kind of a drag, actually. We did that a couple years ago, and it wasn't that fun. It was like watching the same movie twice, essentially. But there are some really great cameos in Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. You got Tim Curry, Rob Schneider. That's all I can think of right now, so we'll just move on. But Home Alone 2 does have one thing that Home Alone doesn't, and for 8-year-old Tom, 7-year-old Tom, it was a pretty big deal. The Talk Boy. It was Kevin McAllister's little voice recorder thing that he used to trick the adults in Home Alone 2, you little scamp Mac. That toy was actually invented for the movie, but it was made into a real toy by Tiger Electronics? I hope. I didn't check this before we started making the video, so I hope it says Tiger Electronics here. Otherwise, I'm gonna look like an idiot. But hey, you know what? That's kind of every day anyway, so whatever. The closest I ever got to owning a Talk Boy as a kid was having a Yak Back, which was a significantly less cool and crappy version. Now look, I know, there are a lot of zombie Christmas musicals out there, but trust me when I say this one is the best. It's a coming-of-age story about, you guessed it, Anna, as she's having some trouble with her family, her dad, looking at what life outside of her small town looks like. The zombie apocalypse happens, as it often does in zombie movies. But here, it's very, very catchy. It's a very catchy zombie apocalypse. There are some incredible musical numbers in this.
We've been living life for far too long. We're tired of pretending. There's no such thing as a Hollywood ending.
Well staged, very clever, very reverent to horror history. You'll have a hard time getting these songs out of your head. Sort of like the axes and violent implements that go into the heads of zombies throughout this movie.
Somebody got in my way. Me and Skull Crusher.
Who's Skull Crusher?
Skull Crusher's my hammer.
This is the newest entry on my list, and honestly, I have been so excited to watch it again since it came out in 2022. Violent Night is about David Harbour as Santa, and that's basically all the pitch you need. But if you need more than that, it's David Harbour as Santa, and he's beating the absolute bloody hell out of everybody he comes across. He's answering the Christmas wish of a girl who is in trouble and needs his help, and violence ensues. Here, take a look. Look, if that's not enough for you to be interested in giving this movie a shot, like, I don't know what to tell you. It's a good time. Hey, red is one of the primary colors of Christmas. It doesn't matter what form it comes in, or whether it's a liquid or a solid or gas. It's usually a liquid in this movie. And now it's time to put up your tree. We're a little ways into December. The holiday spirit's really starting to take hold. I think it is a great idea to pick a movie that you want to watch every year when you're putting up your tree. I think it's really nice to have a movie and a tradition like that you really associate with each other. It really makes both better because of it.
It is the season of the spirit. The message, if we hear it, is make it last all year.
This is my very favorite Christmas movie ever, The Muppet Christmas Carol. I've watched it basically every year since childhood, and now it is my significant other and I's Putting Up the Tree movie. I've had a little running bet with myself all day as to whether I'm going to cry on camera talking about the Muppet Christmas Carol, because generally speaking, when I talk about this movie for more than about a minute, the waterworks start. But I'm doing okay so far, so let me set the stage for you if you haven't seen this movie, and if you haven't, I implore you. It's on Disney Plus, as long as you're not watching this in the future and something terrible has happened to the Muppets library on Disney Plus. So what is the Muppet Christmas Carol? If you haven't seen it, it's a Christmas Carol with Muppets. And that's kind of the genius of it. It's that simple. Look, there's the off-the-wall humor of the Muppets all over the place throughout this movie, and anachronisms here and there and everywhere, really, especially when it comes to Gonzo and Rizzo's narration. Gonzo is playing Charles Dickens, and Rizzo is playing his friend. And so they comment on the action throughout, very much in sort of an omniscient, outside of time and space way. They know they're in a Muppet movie, and it's a blast anytime they're on screen.
You will love business. It is the American way.
Sam. It's just
Oh, it is the British way.
good.
But we do have to get to the unquestionably strongest part of this movie, which is Michael Caine's performance as Ebenezer Scrooge. It is my very favorite Ebenezer Scrooge ever put to film. He is so keyed in, and the secret to his performance, and you can read interviews at the time where he mentions this process and this approach to it. The secret is that he plays it completely straight. He does not know there are Muppets around him. They're as good as people to him, and the fact that he is so locked in against these puppets makes the drama, which is crazy to say in the context of a Muppet movie. It is such a joyful mix of holiday love and warmth, but also this real cold and regret that is embodied by Scrooge, Caine's Scrooge. The songs in the movie are incredibly touching and catchy. They're written by somebody that was a former addict who was really kind of going through it at the time in his recovery, and put that all into the music. And so there's this real wistfulness that comes across as Caine is singing.
Yes, and every night will end, and every day will start with a grateful prayer and a thankful heart.
And boy, that Tiny Tim scene.
You can see the ducks on the river. Tiny Tim
always loved watching the ducks on the river.
The Tiny Tim scene is really, like, if you think of the saddest scenes that you've ever seen in a movie, like, oh man, life is full of partings and meetings and parties. See, it's starting. I'm gonna try to get through it. I do wanna make this one last point about it. It's interesting to note that this is the first movie that was produced by the Henson Company after Jim Henson's death. And when you think of that context, when you see that shot of that chair, it really speaks to why the movie works as a whole. There's a lot of depth to it, and again, it's the only version of the Christmas Carol that has the Muppets in it, so what do you want from me? Hey, I made it without crying. That's pretty cool.
There now. My eyes get weak in the dim light.
All right, your tree's up. There's only a couple weeks to go before Christmas. Now it's time to stop screwing around. This is the cream of the Christmas crop.
You've convinced me. Who knows? This humiliation could change my entire outlook on life.
Really?
No.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas is one of the very best examples of a storybook come to life on screen. The art design and the costumes are wonderful. The atmosphere, it really feels like you're in some sort of pocket universe where it's Christmas all the time. But of course, when we're talking about How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the first thing that you must talk about is Jim Carrey.
I guess I could use a little social interaction.
It's still one of his most iconic performances, especially for kids, and it really holds up. The jokes for both adults and kids, all the jabs that director Ron Howard sort of makes at himself through Jim Carrey, really fun.
You're a reindeer. Here's your motivation.
Jim Carrey had kind of a run of years there where I just became obsessed with him. Both Ace Ventura's, Dumb and Dumber, The Mask. I really loved him. He was actually the bigger draw for me here than the Grinch book itself. I can't actually even be sure I've read it all the way through, to be completely honest.
Kids today, so desensitized by movies and television.
Last thing to shout out here, Christine Baranski's performance is so funny. She wants the Grinch for Christmas.
Why don't you just say it? I'm the worst toy maker in the world. I'm a cotton-headed ninny-muggins.
Who doesn't watch Elf pretty much every year? It's inescapable. Directed by Jon Favreau, of course, director of Iron Man, Zathura, if you want to go back to that, Swingers, which doesn't really have much to do with Elf, but he was out there. And he plays the Doctor in this movie, little cameo. Now look, Jim Carrey's Grinch is of course iconic, but if you want to talk iconic Christmas movie performances, you cannot talk about them without talking about Will Ferrell in Elf. He is so good in this movie. It's not even that Elf is necessarily my favorite movie, even though I saw it in the theaters. I've been on the Elf train for a long time. It's sort of like Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day. I think it's a good song, right? But you know, the radio kind of killed it a little bit. It's a movie that gets played constantly at the holidays. It's inescapable. You're almost definitely gonna watch it once a year, whether you want to or not. But I do have a lot of warmth in my heart for it.
All right. You smell like beef and cheese. You don't smell like Santa. Okay, good.
Oh! He's a
Gremlins. This is one I've watched every year since childhood, and it is an incredibly formative movie for me, especially from a genre mashup standpoint. I'm a big fan of movies that can kind of blend genre and play in different spaces, and Gremlins is one of the absolute gold standards for horror comedy. Gremlins follows the Peltzer family, who bring home a very interesting pet for the holidays. It's Gizmo the Mogwai, and boy are there some rules associated with having that thing in your house that the Peltzers don't follow, and hilarity and gruesome awesomeness ensue. Gremlins is so great. It is an excellent showcase for the physical prop of Gizmo. Just look at this thing. Don't you want to just hug that thing? But don't let how adorable Gizmo is fool you. Gremlins definitely has a dark streak, or stripe. It is very gruesome and violent, especially for like the intended audience, which is definitely younger. I think I've been asked before, like, should I let my kid watch Gremlins? And it's like, well, you know, how early do you want to screw them up? I don't know. And there's also some surprisingly dark character work as well. There's this really fantastic monologue from Phoebe Cates's Kate, where she talks about why she hates Christmas. And it's because her dad was dressed up as Santa and trying to, you know, surprise the kids and come down the chimney with presents. I don't know how he was planning to do that, but he died doing that. And it's the reason the character hates the holidays and sort of has a little bit of conflict with Billy around that throughout the movie. Really kind of surprising. And when people ask me, should they let their kid watch it? Like, yeah, you can. Just, you know, maybe warn them about that one and let them know that you're gonna not fall down the chimney and have that happen.
And that's when I noticed the smell.
So where Gremlins is about like 70% comedy, 30% horror, Krampus is like the complete opposite. It's a fantastic horror comedy directed by Michael Dougherty, who did the Halloween perennial for many, Trick or Treat. Awesome cast: Adam Scott, Toni Collette, Dave Koechner, Allison Tolman, and a really creepy German grandma. That's always nice. Somebody needs to be able to tell these kids who the Krampus is, and why not her? Krampus follows an extended family who are all very different, coming together for the holidays, getting snowed in, and falling victim to one of the kids' Christmas wishes that goes very wrong, resulting in the arrival of, yes, Krampus. He's anti-Santa, basically, and he takes instead of leaves. And boy does he take. And he has little minions that help him take. It also has incredible visual effects, and standing here right now, I can't actually remember if they are practical puppets or visual effects. I think it's a mix of both, and that's a really strong endorsement of how good this movie looks, I think, that I can't just immediately call that to mind. Krampus has a lovely, surreal tone where once the blizzard starts and Krampus starts attacking, it kind of feels like you're trapped in a Christmas nightmare. It's got a bummer of an ending. It's got a real down ending for a Christmas movie, which is always kind of nice. You want a little bit of darkness in your Christmas stuff every now and then, and I love that about it. I love a bummer ending in a Christmas movie. I have to admit, Christmas Vacation's one that I kind of missed growing up. I only watched it for the first time about 5 years or so ago. I did watch Vacation a lot, just never really got onto European and Christmas and Las Vegas and Antarctica and wherever the hell else they go in those vacation movies. I don't really have a ton to say about Christmas Vacation other than it's really, really, really funny. And if you want to have a bunch of friends over and throw a movie on, you can't go wrong with Christmas Vacation. And of course, it gave us the single best 2-word quote from any Christmas movie ever.
Shit full!
Ah, yeah.
Hey, you! What's that? Oh! Whoa, whoa!
The Santa Claus is a movie that I've been watching for most of my life. It came out a couple years after I was born, and so it was on TV a lot growing up. I feel like I probably watched it on the Disney Channel for the first time. It's also my significant other's favorite Christmas movie, which it has a place in my heart just for that. So I've watched it a lot more in recent years, and there is a lot to love about the Santa Claus. Starting with the fact that in the first 20 minutes, Tim Allen kills Santa, which is awesome! What a way to start a movie! And what happens when you kill Santa? You become Santa. And by the way, that is my pitch for if you ever wanted to reboot the Santa Claus, there's that scene where the kid sort of clocks that you can become Santa by killing him. Could you imagine if that kid grew up and kind of went nuts and was like, I want to become Santa, I'll do whatever it takes. Come here, Tim Allen, I heard you talking to my class as a kid.
So, let me get this straight, Santa. You mean, when I grow up, if I want to be Santa Claus, all I gotta do is push you off a roof?
Hey, look, I'd watch that movie, okay? This was clearly an inspiration for Jingle All The Way, where the dad and the son are sort of at odds. It's a divorced parent situation. As a child of divorce, I definitely keyed into a lot of that. My dad never took me to Denny's at midnight on Christmas, and we're still working that out, but we'll get there. And for a Disney movie, a lot of it's pretty down to earth. The middle of the movie is essentially kind of a dramedy. There's not that much Christmas stuff in the body of the movie because it's taking place between the two Christmases that bookend the movie. A lot of good supporting performances in this movie as well. Judge Reinhold, David Krumholtz as Bernard the Elf. He's still doing that. The Santa Clauses is on Disney Plus now. They're keeping it going. There's so many Santa Clauses. It's like a multiverse of Santa Clauses. I guess. I don't watch that show, but I'm guessing that's what it's about. Everything in Disney is about the multiverse these days.
This is some of the best stuff that's come out of the workshop since the ball.
Fabulous. What happens if I fall off the roof?
I don't know about you, but I'm usually pretty busy on Christmas Eve. I'm not one of those people that spends it at home. I'm usually going out seeing friends or family or stuff like that. So I don't have a lot of time on Christmas Eve. So I have something a little bit shorter to watch, and if you haven't seen it, I can't recommend it highly enough.
But we have a chance to save Christmas here, dude. And check it out, we can still get some Christmas spirit if we just bring that shirt I bought over to Ricky Falcone.
The shirt? Is this the shirt that you're referring to?
Yeah!
It's covered in blood, Charlie. Santa's blood, you goddamn lunatic.
Yeah, this one's a little bit of a cheat. It's a long TV episode, but it's my video, I don't care. I first saw this when I rented it on DVD from Blockbuster. Fun fact about A Very Sunny Christmas, it actually didn't air as part of the normal run of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It was a DVD exclusive because there are swears.
Did you f with Mom? Did you f with Mom, Santa?
And violence. And Danny DeVito crawling naked out of a couch and screaming.
Too hot. Let the couch.
Okay, but did you hear she called you an asshole?
She called you an asshole, Frank. No.
I freaking love the Sunny Christmas special. It is one of my favorite Christmas things, as any episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is. It's about the gang trying to get what they want, and what they want are Christmas presents from their youth, or at least their dream Christmas presents. We've got Mac and Charlie who are after, what's his name?
Beep, beep,
Omnibot. It was Omnibot. They're trying to get an Omnibot for Christmas. Dennis wants a Countach. Dee wants a very nice bag. And, Frank just kind of wants to screw with them all. Christmas hijinks at their best. Please, if you have not checked out A Very Sunny Christmas special, it's so good.
It's almost Christmas!
Oh, Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! Oh, you brought the vodka.
Glug, 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 glug.
It's Christmas! It's Christmas! Hear ye, hear ye! It's Christmas Day! That's what my dad does every Christmas. He has like a wrapping paper tube and he goes, "It's Christmas Day!" I shouldn't do that on the internet. It's finally Christmas Day. You've made it. You made it through all the tree setup, the lights are up, the stockings are up, or maybe they're not. You forgot, you didn't have time this year, but it's okay because you're full of Christmas spirit. When you're full of Christmas spirit, there's only one movie to watch.
Ralphie, what would you like for Christmas?
Horrified, I heard myself blurt it out.
I want an official Red Ryder Carbine Action 2-inch range ball air rifle.
Ooh. No. Shoot your eye out.
Yeah, probably not a big surprise here, right? A Christmas Story is an American classic of Christmas cinema. A lot of folks my age probably saw A Christmas Story for the first time as part of the annual 24-hour marathon that happens on cable. I think it happens on TBS now. It used to be like TNT back in the day. A Christmas Story is all about the myth of the one perfect Christmas present, the one you always wanted more than anything else. For Ralphie Parker, it is a Red Ryder BB gun. A Christmas Story is based on the book of the same name by Gene Shepard, who, fun fact, also narrates the movie. And it's a collection of short stories, and that really makes its way into the way that the movie feels. It almost feels like a collection of little vignettes from Ralphie's Christmas season as he's moving towards just trying to keep himself focused on Christmas. And it also really captures that feel of how long it seems to take Christmas to arrive when you're excited for it. Ralphie just can't get his mind off this Red Ryder BB gun, and the hijinks that ensue along the way are just kind of setting the stage for whether or not he'll get the gun. And you've probably seen the movie on the marathon, so I think you know how it goes. And of course, this is one of the most quotable Christmas movies there is.
Fragile. It must be Italian.
I can't put my arms down! I triple dog dare you! Fudge. No, I want an official Red Ryder Carbine Action 2-inch range battle rifle!
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Anyway, let me know in the comments what your favorite Christmas movies to watch are. Let me know what you think of my list. And as always, be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you like to watch IGN.